To yesterday.
Huh?
He was in the Navy.
Which guy?
You were talking to somebody yesterday who was in the Navy during the war.
Gee, I know quite a few guys who was in the Navy. I can't remember.
I can't remember. Okay.
Off the top head.
When did you go? When did you get into the war? What year?
Oh, geez, I can't tell you off that. Well, I was in the Army for 6.5 years.
Okay.
I think it was. I liked a half a year to have it full time. And when I went out to get discharged, they said, you got 3 months. You could, you could come back every month and we'll give you $100 check. Or you can take $200 right now and we'll write the whole thing off.
Okay.
I said, I'll take the $200.
Yeah. So remember you were telling me about when you came back from the war. You're on a ship, right? They were coming back and you didn't know whether you were going to the Pacific or not. Was that true?
What's that?
So when you came back from the war, right, you went to New York, is that correct? Went to New York Harbor?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
That is something you'll never forget.
Why don't you tell me about it?
I'll tell you right now. I'll start crying. But we started for Japan.
Yeah.
And we went through the Straits. Before we started through the Straits of Malta, we went ashore. And it was a very young captain, but a hell of a nice guy. And he says, boys, well, there was only 60 of us out of the original outfit.
Yeah.
But they pulled out kids with children, kids with this and that,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And so actually there was about 60 of us that was single. It wasn't all, but there was some that just come over there and had been there 3 days and they got put on and shipped in to go to China or Japan. So anyway, we got ready there and we boarded. And at that time, the war was on. We got boarded, we no more than left, Harley. And he come on the phone, he says, the war is over. And he says, I'm going into Oran and see if I can take you home. So we pulled in about an hour before noon. And he disappeared and everybody just mobbed down there. Nobody went for chow or nothing, and they kept blowing the horn and everything else. So then, about an hour and a half while he come back and boarded the ship. We took off. And he says, I'm sorry, boys, I couldn't get it. And so, well, that's it. Well, it was about, I think it was around 1 o'clock in the morning. Somebody threw a steel helmet, hit me right up in there on the head. And he had received word to go to New York. So first thing in the morning, I think around 7, he said, I have received orders to proceed to New York. Our arrival date there, and he gave us right down to the minute. And it was about 2 weeks yet.
Yeah.
And then he had this guy that had on nothing but a pair of pants, something similar to this, no shirt, red-headed, but built like Tarzan. And he had on kind of a leather canvas-like shoe, a funny shoe, both of them. And he walked on cables. And then he was tying these little round disc stems like that. He was tying them on all the cables above him there.
Yeah.
And it took him that whole 2 weeks. But he had gotten to the top. And we arrived in New York exactly as the captain said, on the minute. And at the same time, a ferry boat pulled up from the statue. And of course, it had a band on it playing and everything. And then we started up, and we were in the lane, and the band was right behind us. And then in front of us, all of a sudden, flags, the whole ship was just covered in these long, narrow flags.
Yep.
And all over the thing. And as we passed each ship, they started blowing their horn. They never stopped. They were just getting more. Pretty soon, the damn near was playing like music on it. And they took us right up until the girls come out, and then the girls in the boat, it had left and gone on ahead of us, and of course they unloaded the girls because that was where we got off onto that boat. They took us into the port there, and then they put us on a train over, and I forget right now what camp it was, but we were there, and we were called for chow, and we went in the chow hall, which was a very unusual thing, and an officer comes out, and he says, "Boys, I've got enough food fixed for you up here," he said, "to feed you for 2 hours. If you want to try to eat it, you guys go after it." He says, "No matter," he says, "you start here, it's chicken, it's beef, it's this," and you went down the road, it was a different type of meat. But the ship, where the girls were on, it was an ark, most beautiful, with rainbows in it.
Yeah.
And that, it just come right down so perfect to the water. And it stayed right in there until we got to and docked for the train there, where we were boarding the train there. But we were there 2 hours, and I mean, they had every kind of food they could think of. And then I stayed that the rest of that day and the next day, and it was listed. They started listing at 5 o'clock in the morning what planes was leaving, because they were just the old paratrooper planes, and all. They could only take 25 guys on them.
Yeah.
So you go up, your name's on there, and it told you what time to be that plane and just where it would be. And if you're not there on time, you'll have to wait till the next one. And we left there at 8 o'clock. We arrived in Sacramento at I think it was about 12:30.
Okay.
We stopped, I think, four places to fuel up. And there's only 24 guys on the plane.
Yeah.
That's all there is. So, you know, but the guys say, "Well, there's something there. There's something, you know." Yeah, we'll look at. When they that morning got there, he got everybody off and refueled, and they turned that thing right around and hit it right back, because they were taking the ones from this way, had to go over there, and the ones over there go there. But, and like we had quite a few of the Japanese people on there. And one little guy worked with me, that hell with him, and he kept saying, "Jack, you go home with me. You go home with me. I'm scared to go home." And I said, "You can be scared. There's nobody going to hurt you." "No, I got." Well, then when we hit New York, he ran into the outfit that he belonged to before he got shot. And when they got done with it, he didn't want to go home then. He had all of his old cronies. They took me over and introduced me to the captain and everything.
So that was the Japanese. That was the Japanese unit.
Yeah, it was a Japanese. And the thing is, we treated them guys dirty. He told me how they deserted him at 8 o'clock, around 8 o'clock in the morning on the side of a hill, and he'd been shot in the leg there, and he couldn't walk. They had tourniquets and everything on it. And they said, "We'll try to get somebody back to you." He said, "They didn't get anybody." He says, "They was Americans running past us, deserting." He said, "Yeah, we'll send somebody up for you." He says, "It was 9 o'clock that night before they got me off."
I mean, yeah, a lot of people don't know that there was actually Japanese units in the American Army in the war.
You guys you can probably see.
Yeah.
But no Japanese. But well, they finally took over the prisoner of war camp that we had,
Okay.
and my eyesight's about it. Not sure if you can see it. It might be in this. This is a guard post, but It's right off in one of the pictures over there. You can just barely see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But there's the other one that does the Leaning Tower of Pisa also. But no, I was very lucky. I was damn lucky. And the Japanese one, but they stayed most of the time always to themselves.
Yeah.
But he lived along with me, and he done electrical work and that. And he did a damn nice little guy.
Yeah.
When he got shot there, and they left him on that hill, and then run off and left him there. Jesus Christ, that must have been a weird, pretty 8 hours that he laid there waiting for somebody to come through.